I have today with me Jerriann Savelle, and her ministry is powerful, awesome, and wonderful. I just love this lady. Love what you're doing. Welcome, Miss Jerriann. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me back. Thank you.
I know. I looked it up. I said to my husband, I think it's been about a year. And I looked it up. You were on
Has it been
episode.
a year?
It has been over a year. Can you believe that? It's
Wow.
like 2 months.
Wow.
March the 8th, 2022.
Wow, time goes by fast.
So fast. And it was episode 282 for those of you that are listening and watching. If you want to go back and catch it on the Julie Tussey Show podcast and television, it was so fun, and I had such a good time with you then. So I thought this year I'm adding more women to the Powerhouse Women series.
Yeah.
So I wanted to come in and catch up with you and see what you've been up to. I watch you on Facebook, of course, so I kind of feel like I know a little bit, but what have you been up to and how are you?
Oh, well, I appreciate you having me back. I've just, I have tried to be faithful the last year. I think when I met with you, I was just launching my little faith talks.
Yes.
And so I've been faithful to do that once a week. And the Lord just told me, he said, just be faithful where you're at, start where you're at, and just be consistent. And really, that's what I've been doing, is just being faithful with that. Of course, going out and ministering when I get invited to speak.
Yeah.
And being faithful to the calling, every single day. And I like to tell people it doesn't have to be behind a pulpit that you're called, it's
Exactly.
wherever you're at, that you be a light to the world. And so that's what I try to do.
That's awesome. I was just looking at the post that you made not long ago where you were taking care of your grandmother.
Yes.
And you said, and I loved what you said. I think you're kind of teasing about, that sometimes I know maybe you feel this way too. When you're in a studio or in a closet or in a room talking to people and not like there's no one there, that can kind of be lonely, and it can kind of feel like it's maybe not as effective. Like I know you're in front of live audiences a lot, and I have been, and there's something about that energy and that pull and the illumination of, you see people kind of light up when, God wants you to minister to them or however he works with you. But I wanted to tell you, number one, God is using you more than you know, and I have to tell, Gary and I are in the studio a lot, my husband, and we've been in the studio a lot since COVID started, without a team, without a crew and all of that. But man, I get reports, and I wish that Facebook would give these reports, but I get reports of how what we're doing is reaching the world. And I get that through the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I love that. I love that you said you're being faithful, because I think that's the key. And I'm kind of convicted when you say I've been doing the live every, once a week, because I feel like I should probably do that. But you do have to make a commitment. And when you do, there's so many cool things about it, how it's going to go places you don't even know.
It is.
And it's going to go into infinity almost, because when it's on that kind of on these platforms, So, but I loved how you said, maybe my ministry is here with my grandmother. And I love that, because yes, it really is about that one-on-one so much.
It is. And I really wanted to stress to people, I think some people get frustrated, especially people that are in ministry, and they're thinking, well, I'm not getting speaking engagements, or people aren't asking me. But you just think about, for me, that is part of my calling, is being there for my grandmother in her latter years, and honoring the legacy that she is to my life. And I'm like, you know what? This is a ministry. I may not be in front of thousands of people today, but I'm honoring this lady. She's the one that really started the heritage of faith in our family. So I wanted people to know that you can be in your part of the world ministering to the people around you, and that's part of your calling, and it doesn't go unnoticed by God.
No, not at all. And that You know, ultimately, it's easy to think it's got to take a lot of numbers and it's got to take a lot of meetings, but that's not true, because
Right.
God knows what He wants us to do. You
Yeah. I
know,
want to share this one story with you if I could.
please do.
I had this women's weekend. It was probably 10 years ago now. And I put so much into it. I mean, all my resources and putting this whole event together. And it was a free event. And I had little gift bags for all the women. Well, I had about 200 women sign up. But when the event came, only about 85 women came. And I was really discouraged. I was hurt, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, I put all this work into this. And anyways, I did my best. I preached twice that weekend and I poured into the ladies. But at the end of it, I didn't feel like it was that profitable, or I just didn't feel like it was that great. Anyways, I went on with life, and I'm talking probably 5 years later after that event, I was doing this workout in the park. And it's like this Camp Gladiator is what it's called. I mean, you lift like heavy tires and ropes, and it's a really intense workout. And so the lady that was signing us up the very first day, I didn't recognize her, but she recognized me. And she said, Jerriann, I just have to let you know, you did an event, she said, about 5 years ago. And she goes, I was at that event. And she goes, I want you to know that that very weekend changed my life forever. And I was like, oh my goodness, because I thought it was a failure. I didn't think it was that successful, but I thought, God, you're so good that you would have this one lady 5 years later find me in a park and tell me that that weekend, not just that it was great or that it impacted her, she said it changed her life. And I thought, if I did it for
Wow.
that one person, that it was worth it all for me. So it was a
Exactly.
valuable lesson to me to not be hung up on the numbers, but to the quality of what you're giving out to someone that you never know. Like you said, you never know the influence and the impact that it has around the world. So you just keep being faithful to what God's called you to do.
Yeah, because I mean, until we stand at the throne, I don't think we're going to know.
Right.
I don't think we're going to know. Something kind of
Exactly.
similar happened to me last week. I was in the hair salon, and I go to this place where I have a lot of friends in there, and we just cut up and have a good time. And I was so my the guy that owns it, I was talking to him. He's a born again spirit filled Christian, strong man of God, and he was like, "Now, how do you do this TV stuff?" Because he was always encouraging me that he loves what we're doing, and I think he wants to
Yeah.
do it. And I'm telling him, and I'm laughing, and I'm telling him, and all of a sudden, one of his clients that was under the dryer, she goes, I know that voice. I know that laugh, she said. And she goes, oh my gosh, you are Julie Tussey. I watch your podcast. I watch you on
Oh,
TV. I've gone to see you sing live. And she knew things about me that I would never dream that
that's
anybody would even
awesome.
remember. She goes like,
Yeah.
I remember this one podcast, and it was like, 7 years
Isn't that
ago. And she
awesome?
goes, I follow you, and you don't even know how much. And I was like, Lord, you are so good. You are
Yeah,
so
and you
good.
probably needed that little, just
Yeah.
that little encouragement to know, hey, I'm doing what God's called me to do, and just keep on keeping on.
Exactly. And we're
Yeah.
running a race, but we have to pace ourselves. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You
Definitely.
can't just be a sprinter all the time. We have to so I love it because I think it takes character to do what you're doing, to be faithful to it. And so that's a really encouraging word. Sometimes, we have a big female audience, of course,
Mhm.
but I'm sure there's women out there who are raising babies like you have and I have, and they just feel like they're not doing enough. But it really is just the obedience to whatever the Lord brings.
Oh, for sure. And you think of the high calling of raising children,
Oh gosh.
the next
Yes.
generation that you're bringing into the world, and the influence that you have on that child. I don't know when this is going to come out, but it was recently Mother's Day, and I had four of my six children with me that day. And it's like when you look at your children and you think, wow, they're doing good things and they're following after the heart of God. And it's just this mother. I know pride's not a good word, but I don't know another word, but just this, just so pleased and, like this is the fruit of my labor that
Exactly.
my children have all turned out good,
Yeah.
and it's not to be taken lightly when you're raising children. And I think being a mother and a stay-at-home mother, just it can go so unnoticed and sometimes so unappreciated. But like I said earlier, God sees it all. He sees it all.
I love that. And I am to me, I would say the most important ministry in my life has been raising my children and now sewing and loving and helping raise my grandchildren, building
Yes,
that relationship and teaching them about Jesus, because there are so many children that don't get that. But just,
right.
creating decent human beings, number one, but
Yes,
decent human beings
I love
that
Jesus.
they love him and they know him. So yeah, hats off to you and happy Mother's Day, by the way.
Thank you.
It
You
was
too.
recently. And happy
Yeah.
Mother's Day to everyone, every mother that's listening or watching.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this.
As a believer, you're giving into ministry somewhere. Julie and I just ask you to prayerfully consider giving into Gary and Julie Tussey Ministries. Here's Julie to tell you how.
Whether you're giving a one-time offering or becoming a monthly VIP with Gary and Julie Tussey Ministries, it is so easy to give. Safe and secure, you can download the app Gary and Julie Tussey Ministries or GJTM right on your phone in your app store. Thank you so much for your prayerful consideration and giving into this ministry. And please know that we're reaching the world with the love and the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes, I told my boy Brent, he's number 5. I told him the other day we were having a really deep talk, and he's 17, so this was like amazing that he was just opening up and talking, and I just let him talk. And I said, Brent, at the end of the day, if I'm not being a good mother and I'm not being what I need to be for you, this ministry thing means nothing to me.
Come on.
I
Yes.
want to be what I'm supposed to be as a mother. And if I'm being one way in the pulpit and I'm not that at home, what kind of example is that? So I was telling him, you're the most important thing to me. It's not being on TV or going out and preaching. It's what, the influence I have on my children. And
I
so
love
think
that.
that's
I
important.
feel the same exact way. I mean, it's great. I mean, God's had me in front of people since I was 9, and it's great. But it is not the thing.
Right.
That ministry heart, that's he gave us those gifts. That's the main thing.
Right.
And now how old are you? How old is your youngest?
My youngest is 15 and my oldest is 33. So there's 18 years between them. And I feel like that's all I've ever known is being a mother.
Me too. Me too. Mine are I've had 2 sets of twins almost 12 years apart, which I've told you before. And I feel I feel like I have so much more time for ministry, but I thought, I don't know if we get this mentality. Okay, they're 18. This is the world's thoughts, right? And we get it in our head. They're 18. We're just about done. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Not when you're a spirit-filled praying mama.
Oh yeah. My husband will laugh sometimes because some days it'll be like I'm on the phone with my oldest and then I hang up and then my 3rd child will call and then my 4th child. It's like a full-time ministry and they're grown and they're gone. But at the end of it, I'm like, whew, that was
I know. It doesn't stop. Matter of fact,
it doesn't stop.
I'm not changing diapers or chasing anybody now, but I'm like this constantly praying, talking, counseling, loving, going shopping, being part of their life, cooking. I
Yes.
love it, but I feel busier now. I do. Do you?
I know it's a different kind of busy for sure, but I don't think it lets up. I don't have so many in the house anymore, but
Yeah,
it's like, whew.
I know. Well, you've done a
Sometimes
great
I need a
job.
vacation from the phone.
I know, I know. When I get really like that feeling like, oh, I'm like, I need to go to Florida. I need to go to the
Yeah,
beach.
exactly.
Which I think you were there recently, weren't you, at the beach? Did I see
Yep.
that?
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
I've been to the beach.
That's
Yep.
to me that the beach is the best Prozac in the whole world.
Oh my goodness. It is. I don't care what, just water makes me happy.
Too.
And we were in Newport recently, and then I was in Yosemite last week, and there's just some beautiful God country. And then I come
Yes.
to my house and I have like this ugly, dark, it's a lake, but it looks like a swamp. But I'm just grateful for water. I don't even care what color it is. I'm
So,
like, just so I can see the water, I'm happy. So
I was in deep prayer today about some beachfront.
yes,
Like, Lord, I want to go minister on the beach. But yeah,
yes.
I totally understand that. I grew up surrounded by the Great Lakes, and so I always thought it was that. But I love that we're sisters at heart over this.
Yes, for sure. Yeah,
So when
give me
all else fails, go to the beach and then go back to the momming. But
exactly. Yeah.
well, do you have anything coming up? You got any big plans for anything right now? Like
Minute.
do you want to do a women's thing I can come to?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't have plans for a women's thing right now, but
Okay.
I've been thinking about it because it's been too long and I haven't done one. I have a couple of speaking engagements coming up on I think Alabama and Georgia.
Nice.
They'll be on my website.
Okay, which is
Biggest thing, Jerriann.org.
that's what I thought. Jerriann.org.
Yeah. But personally, the biggest thing is I have a new grandbaby coming, and
Oh, congratulations.
I just went to the baby reveal out in California, and it's a little girl. I'm excited.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, now how many grandchildren do you have right now?
I only have one, and today is her birthday. She's 3 today.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm flying out tomorrow. She lives in Alabama, so I'm flying out tomorrow to celebrate her. And then my other grandbaby coming lives out in California, so I'll be doing a lot of California, Alabama flying to see my grandbabies.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank
We just
you.
had my 6th granddaughter.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like God heard that little girl prayer when I didn't have any sisters. I want 3 girls.
Do you have grandsons too?
I don't. My husband,
Aw.
his children have
No.
my husband has 2, I have 2, we had 2, and his came in like I kind of helped raise his son a little bit more than his daughter.
Yeah.
And they have 2 boys and 1 girl, I believe. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so but they're all grown, they're all grown. They're teenagers and going off, getting ready to go to college and
Yeah.
all of that. My
Mhm.
husband's older than me. I always tease and say I'm not old enough to have that old of children, but I am her grandchildren.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just
Aw.
so much older, like 3 whole years.
That's my husband. He's 3 years older too.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be hosting some Grace Girls and Company women's events if we can get them off. We're in an area we're south of Lexington,
Okay.
so it's not real big, but it's a college town. But maybe someday I could get you to come and speak or something. That would be great. So they can go, everybody can go to Jerriann.org to go see where Miss Jerriann is speaking and follow her there. But gosh, it's so good to catch up with you. I really appreciate you coming on today.
I appreciate you having me, and like we said earlier, talking about faithfulness, I just want to commend you for your faithfulness, like all these years of just pursuing the kingdom and doing what you're called to do and using the gifts and talents that he's given you, and just keep doing what you're doing. Like we
Thank
said, people are watching and
Yeah.
people are being blessed by it. So thank
Amen.
you.
And God's being glorified through the ministries. And I just love that, your ministry and the ministry here. And I know it's all him, but thank you very much.
Yeah.
I wanted you to take a minute, if you will, and share about the Friday. Is it Friday Faith Talks or just Faith Talks?
Well, on Facebook, I call it Friday Faith Talks because I post it on Friday every day, but then on YouTube, it's just Faith Talks.
Okay.
So,
What's your YouTube
I
channel?
was doing the I
I'm so
think it's Jerriann Savelle or Jerriann Ministries. I don't know,
okay.
but
Maybe
it's one of those.
yeah, I'll go find it. I was just going to put it in the notes so everybody can go and find you
Yeah.
there too.
It might be Jerriann Ministry. I don't know. You have to look
Okay.
it up. It's Savelle or Ministries, one of those.
Sorry
But, you
for putting you on the spot like that.
No, it's one of those. I just don't remember. But
I
I
know.
was doing the Kelly Jerry show for 3 years with Kelly Copeland, and enjoyed doing that. And then just felt like I didn't want to do that anymore. And Kelly's doing her own show now, but it was kind of like, Lord, what do I do now? And he said, just start where you're at, just start in your house. Sometimes I film like we're doing right now in my closet. Just
Yeah.
wherever, just be faithful. Now I could go, up to my dad's office and use a studio or hire people to help me. And he just said, no, just start where you're at, be faithful, and we'll go from there. And so that's what Faith Talks is, just a little boost of faith, just encouraging people and trying to have relevant topics and things I go through. Some people look at my family's life and think, oh, they've never been through anything, or they're just so perfect, and I'm so far from perfect. And I kind of lay that all out there. That
I love it though.
Jesus,
Yeah.
I'm a mess without Jesus.
Yeah, hot mess express without Jesus.
Yes.
Well, I love that you do that because you're so personable, and I try to do the same thing. And I try to talk sometimes about how all you're seeing on social media and stuff a lot of times is the highlights
Yes.
of a life.
Yeah.
And so I try to be really open and vulnerable, and not everybody does that. So I think that God is really using that in this time, because it used to be that men and women of God, they were just put on such a high platform in our minds that we couldn't relate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, man, they just got it.
That. Often people saying they appreciate that about my transparency. And I'm like, I don't know any other way to be. Like, there's no fake in me.
Me
So
too.
I'm like, this is the way I am. And I just try to give all glory to God, that without him, I just would be a total mess. But it's shocking, Julie, to find out that people say a lot of ministers aren't that way. I didn't grow up in a household like that. My dad is the same as he is on stage at home. I saw that example in front of me. But
yeah.
And it is amazing how many people connect and say thank you. It's so refreshing to hear someone who, grew up in a glass house, or, grew up in front of the public, that can be so bold and honest about the mistakes they've made. And I posted this the other day, but I had someone get on my page and say, you need to stop talking about the past so that you can be in the fullness of your future. They posted on a picture of my dad and I wasn't even talking about the past. But I thought that's so bizarre, because the word tells us that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
Yes.
Testifying about what God's delivered us from. And I don't ever magnify the bad or magnify the wrong or the sin. I glorify Jesus and what he brought me out of. So I'm not going to stop talking about what he's delivered me from, because it's helping other people going, oh, if she can get free from that, I can get free from that.
Exactly.
So
and that's what
talk all the bolder.
Well, I actually saw that post and I thought you responded very well. And, haters gonna hate. And we just
Yeah.
we have to share. I totally 100% agree. I've had people say, well, you're just sharing too much. Well,
Mm.
sorry, when you get your own show, share what you're gonna do.
Exactly.
You
I'm
know?
that's kind of like, it's my page and I can say whatever I want on my page. But anyways,
Yeah. I've actually posted that exact thing. I'm like, this is my page, and if you don't like what's on my page, go do what you want on your page, but you will be deleted. And I think I can't remember if I told you this before, but the people that follow me that love me, I don't even
yeah.
ever have to say if someone's mean or cruel. I don't even have to rebut or say a word, but they get fierce. I mean,
Oh
they
yeah.
get feral. I'm like, you don't want to say something bad on here, trying to help you.
Yes.
But
There's
yeah,
this there's this precious little girl. She's a teenager and I know her family. And one day several people, they were bashing my dad
no.
about having an airplane. And this little girl was like going to town on all these people. And I was just cracking up laughing because she was just defending the cause. And I was like, you go, girl.
I know I never have to say a word, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to save them because, I'm not on there 24 hours a day. And that has happened a few times. And by the time I get there, I'm like, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Remember,
Yeah.
you're saved.
Yeah. It's funny.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I think of like, our small little world. You think of like celebrities. I was looking at someone I follow the other day and that I admire who's a celebrity and they are a Christian but man, people are just bashing this girl so hard and I'm like, I don't even know the degree of what that person goes through. So
No,
I have it good.
I am. Me too. I'm just
Yeah.
small peanuts.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Yeah.
I only get a few of those compared to the thousands this girl was getting. So
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
when and ever
we
we
can
get
handle
that
it.
big, we just stop reading the comments. I guess that's the key.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, let
exactly.
them take care of themselves. Well, it's been
Yeah.
such a pleasure to have you here. Is there anything on your heart that you want to share or say to the listeners today?
I would
Watchers?
like to say, in following up what our theme today was about being faithful, over whatever it is that God's called you to do, from
Yes.
raising your babies, creating a new business, whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, and being faithful in the little. That's what Matthew 25:23 tells us, to be faithful over that
Yes.
little thing. Then he's going to give you more responsibility as you show your faithfulness. But in that, I just want to remind you not to compare yourself to anybody else, just to be authentically you, the way God created you to be. And you don't have to be like anybody else. You don't have to do it like anybody else. But just be content and confident and in your abilities and the way God created you to be. And then you're going
Amen.
to flourish at whatever God's called you to do.
Amen. That's powerful. I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much. I
Yes.
pray that God just anoints you so strong you can't even hardly stand it, and that He does reach those people, that He intends you to reach. And those of you listening and watching, please go to Facebook and follow Jerriann Savelle. It's just under your name, right? Or is it Ministries?
Yeah, it's Jerriann Ministries and then / or whatever that little, what's the little line thing? Jerriann Savelle.
This one or this one?
This little line.
Hyphen.
Yeah, there you go. Jerriann Ministries, Jerriann Savelle. And there's some fakers, scammers out there.
Oh, okay.
A little differently. So I try to tell people, first of all, I don't message people and give them words from God, and I don't use the word beloved. And
yes, and you know how to
if it
spell.
doesn't sound like me, it isn't me. I know how to spell. One spelled my dad's name wrong. I'm like, I know how to spell my dad's name, so it's not me.
Bless your heart.
You have
Bless
to
your heart.
really look out for those people.
I'm looking Jerriann Ministries dash Jerriann Savelle. So if they search you, they'll find it. Look for a hyphen.
Yes, look for the hyphen.
That's the secret ingredient right there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, go and make sure that you're watching the Friday Faith Talks. Go over to YouTube, and I did find your YouTube channel, and it was Jerriann Ministries.
Okay,
YouTube,
good.
probably youtube.com/Jerriann Ministries. And it's
Okay.
Jerriann. You have doubles. You have two sets of twins in there.
Yes, I do.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it because that's how you can own your own .org.
Yes,
Right?
for sure.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's do this.
As a believer, you're giving into ministries somewhere. Julie and I just ask you to prayerfully consider giving into Gary and Julie Tussey Ministries. Here's Julie to tell you how.
Whether you're giving a one-time offering or becoming a monthly VIP with Gary and Julie Tussey Ministries, it is so easy to give. Safe and secure, you can download the app Gary and Julie Tussey Ministries or GJTM right on your phone in your app store. Thank you so much for your prayerful consideration and giving into this ministry. And please know that we're reaching the world with the love and the gospel of Jesus Christ.